All right. See if that did it. Can you see or hear me, anyone? Let me know. Should be live here. All right, thank you, Claire. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It is great to have you here. Holy cow. Started a little bit early today, because I wanted to make sure that we could get Krista Sadler here on stream. We're going to be talking to her about her upcoming book on the Cedar Mountain Formation. This is the geological formation that we're working in right now, out here in wild and beautiful eastern Utah, way out in the middle of the desert. Kind of near Moab, Utah, if you know where that is. Anyway, I'm really glad you're here. Welcome to Paleontologizing, and welcome to a live dinosaur dig. If it's your very first time here, then allow me to introduce myself. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. So whether you're watching live right now, hello chat, or whether you're watching later on in the VOD or on YouTube, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and especially if you're live, please ask some questions. The whole point of these broadcasts is for you to have a chance for live interaction with scientists out doing field work, while we're in our element. This is the best way that I know of for how to do outreach like this. And I'm incredibly privileged to be able to do that. I'm really excited you're here. I hope you're excited too. And let's see. We've got a brand new species, if not a new genus, of iguanodont dinosaur that we're excavating here. So you'll be seeing some parts of that. And then, also we've got Ed Simpson, sedimentologist, here in the quarry with us. And we talk about the depositional environment here, what we can glean from the surrounding rocks, what this ancient environment was like. So that's going to be cool too. Anyway, do not be shy with those questions, everybody. It's a benefit to chat to a wild Jim. Oh yeah, we got Jim in the quarry too. We got Fisher and Ethan and Dawn and Ken. It's kind of a full house today. Yeah, so pretty good stuff. Yeah, and we're lucky to have Krista with us as well. I think she had a bit of a flight delay or something, decided to come out and visit us rather than just hanging around in Moab. So it's been great having her here too. Should be a lively discussion today. Yeah, and the Corbias, is able to volunteer to help out without a background in the field? Absolutely, yeah. So a lot of the people that we have as volunteers are students or interested amateurs, or sometimes just people from the local community. So yeah, we absolutely need volunteers, and a bunch of different programs do across the country and around the world. So if you're interested in participating in a paleontological dig, there are absolutely opportunities for you. I don't know about here on this crew necessarily, unless we know you somehow. But so much of participating in paleontology is not what you know, it's who you know. And that's probably true of much of life, That's the way it is here as well. Sounds like an info-packed stream. It probably will be. We shall see. Anyway, welcome to Paleontologizing, everybody. Let's go check out the quarry. And again, for anybody new here wondering how in the world I'm able to broadcast from the middle of the eastern Utah desert, middle of nowhere, it's via satellite. Here's our dish right there. And our solar panels. Let me arrange these so they can soak up more of that sun. I forgot to shift them after this morning. A little bit of housekeeping here. There we go. Nice. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Yeah. Here we go. So, everybody?
Time to clean up.
Yeah. Ed, how are you doing?
Good.
Good to have you here. Buddy, this is Dr. Ed Simpson, sedimentologist. We saw him in chat the other day as Doc Simpson, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's showing up Dawn today with his running t-shirt. Holy cow. So that's been a feature on these streams, Krista, has been Dawn's daily 5K shirts and stuff. Yeah, and now Ed has got one with a dinosaur on it, Fruita Dens from Fruita, Colorado.
Oh,
Holy cow.
Cute.
Which we've worked in too.
Yeah.
My favorite dinosaur.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. You've worked on fruited ends too?
No, it's just my favorite.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah. And so we got Ed here, and we got Krista Sadler, who is writing an upcoming book on the Cedar Mountain Formation that we're very excited about. So hopefully we'll have a few minutes to talk about that before you have to take off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah. So it was really nice of Krista to come out here and help us out.
Cold drinks
for the afternoon.
It's
always welcome. Yeah. Yeah. But can we get the link to the GoFundMe fundraiser on there so that people can contribute to that upcoming book? Krista actually has to self-fund this one, and it's important stuff, so she's happy to do it, but man, is it expensive to get a book self-published that's got so many illustrations and everything else. It's like a coffee table book.
They're all about illustrations. Like, if it's going to be a book for the public, I just feel like you need to have more illustrations than not, because if I just say, if I use the word Ceratotus, who knows what that is? But it's
a long fish. But
it's not a dinosaur.
But yeah, so we'll talk to Krista in a little bit. But when some more people kind of trickle in, I know we're pretty early here. We've already got 139 people watching. Excellent. Yeah. And oh, and let's see. I will definitely check on that. Thank you, Golganek and Claire Burr, for reposting. Something from Volcano Duck. Excellent. Before 1100 tomorrow. I will do that. I will do that. In fact, let me look right now. Let's see. And I think it's got to be in that one.
What's up? Oh, yeah. Whenever you got a minute, just try to piece.
I'm not sure if I got that email. Let me double check here. Appreciate your patience, chat. Let's see. No, nothing. Weird.
One is related and one probably isn't. This looks like a target here. Okay, that's the one that's on. Right now, this is.
I'm not getting anything. That's bizarre. Huh. Anyway, yeah. And over 200 people now. Well. Excellent. Yeah. Go Plant a Tree says, I really want to see the iguana. So it's not an iguana. It's an ornithischian dinosaur we're digging up called an iguanodont. And it would have looked something like this right here. It's a little doodle I did on one of our jackets. We've got a rib inside of this one. And, so on the other side, you can see the outline of that rib. We've got an additional bone right there. But I figured this needed some gussying up. And so, there we go. So this is a dinosaur. That's a pretty rough approximation of what it would look like. A little bit later than Camptosaurus, a little bit more derived than Camptosaurus, but more primitive than Iguanodon. Yeah. So that kind of a critter. And we know they got big, too.
Fisher, how much of that thing you got?
Yeah. Anywho. So Ethan and Ken are working on some other bones right there. We've got a bunch over here, too.
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
Keep it secret so we don't know.
It's very flat and it reminds me kind of the theropod stuff.
Ooh. Here, can we invade your space, Fisher?
Yeah, point out what you got.
So I've got two ends of probably long bones here. This I'm not sure about because it's kind of broad and very big. And then I've got this little flat guy here that might be scully. And then there's this vert here from yesterday. There's this little nub up here, and then there's this kind of scrappy thing over here as well.
We're gonna have to move.
Yeah,
some
this
of
is all gonna get
Yeah.
taken down. We might healthy this tomorrow.
We'll do that tomorrow morning.
Get this. Yeah.
That's nice and cool. Cool.
But yeah, this might be a bit of an ordeal to work around because it looks kind of big, to say the least. So.
it's going to work perfectly.
Yeah.
We'll just go right around it, take it out, and end the quarry right there.
There you go. Just wipe our hands, wrap it up. Alright, what is our current temperature? Oh boy. Almost 100 on the dot. Nice. And it does feel humid today. Not as humid as it did this morning. But, yeah. Anyway. It feels warmer than it is because of that humidity. But, yeah, anyway. Welcome to the quarry, everybody. Let me know if you got any questions. Have any mammal fossils been found on this dig? No, Hugo, not yet. Fisher is hoping, but nothing so far. No, mammals are not particularly common animals in the Mesozoic, it seems.
Well, even if they were common, they're unlikely to be fossilized just because they're so small.
Yeah, you get that that size bias. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and you're doing all that screen washing like Rick Cifelli. Yeah. Yeah. And Emo Giraffe says greetings from Egypt. Well, well, well. Huh?
Assalamu alaikum.
So Don here has worked in Egypt for a good while. In the Fayum and yeah.
Zayak. How are you?
Anyway, good stuff. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. Joe Wingy says, why did prehistoric North America get all the cool big predatory dinosaurs? Oh no, it didn't. There's other big cool predatory dinosaurs from all around the world. In fact, we're missing some of the key ones here in North America. We don't get megaraptorids, we don't get spinosaurids, at least not yet. I haven't found any. Do we have any
You
neovenators?
look at the cedar, and Seat's is probably a neovenatorid.
Oh, okay.
That's what Lindsay's guys have.
That's from the Mustang Toucher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real big one. I always thought it was going to be a Carcharodontosaur, but they're saying it's probably more of a neovenatorid.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of controversy on Facebook that are being repeated and repeated and repeated that it's actually a megaraptorid.
Yeah.
And most of us, Nick Longridge did a nice rebuttal showing the pelvis. Says this really doesn't make sense. You know, both paleogeographically, which is my approach, and morphologically. But the guy that's promoting it is still not really quite ready to call it a day and believe
Well,
us.
he's getting his 15 minutes of fame there, yeah. Some paleo controversy. Oh, and we've got a response from our chatter from Egypt, Don.
Okay.
They say, tell him Habibi. With a heart. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Paleontology, it brings the world together.
It really does, yeah.
The dinosaurs didn't know international borders.
No.
So neither do we.
They knew continental borders.
A freelancer asks, can we have a spotlight on Jim's shirt? This is a new shirt today.
Ah.
Paleo National Park Service paleontology.
Yep, this is their logo for the Park Service.
Nice. That's cool.
Dinosaur, do it from there.
What's that?
Go up to Dinosaur and do
I've done that a couple times. Yeah, done streams from there. I've had, her name is Tish. One of the rangers there has been like a recurring character on the streams. She's been awesome, yeah. But, yeah, anyway, we all got shirts like this yesterday, or most of us did.
Did you get one?
I did. It was, yeah, it might be a little bit too big for me, but that's okay. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Someday, even if he's in his 60s, someday.
Yeah, there you go.
See, vintage.
It's a nice quality shirt, though. It's like some sort of synthetic material. It feels like it's high quality.
And I'm not feeling sweaty in it, so it must be a wicking kind.
Nice. It looks like athletic shirt material
Like
almost.
an ultra
Yeah.
running shirt.
But this is probably a great time for you to sit down and interview Krista a little bit about what she's doing before she
Yeah, I'm waiting for a few more people to trickle in before we do that.
Okay.
But, yeah. Although, if you got to take off soon, Krista, I don't want to hold you back for now.
I'm driving out of here by 3. I'll be
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Well, shoot. Yeah, let's sit down and talk about that then, because it's like 2:20 right now.
All right.
And I did not bring your book to the quarry because I didn't know you were going to be here today, or else I would have.
We have another one. We have Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
Oh, do we?
But Ed,
I'll get it.
See, it's Dawn of the
Appreciate you, Ed. Thank you.
Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I mean, I read the other book and like it, and I own it.
Yeah, yeah.
But when Dawn of the Dinosaurs came out, and I'm looking at this, I'm like,
this is what
Krista, would you want to be doing a book on Cedar Mountain Formation?
And I've I've known Jim for a while because I interviewed him for, let's see, Life in Stone and a couple others, and then, and little did I know what I was getting into.
Someone had to do it. You stepped up to the plate. Now we got to support you and promote this book and get it into libraries because it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this book. Holy cow! Because there hasn't really been like a popular book treatment of the Cedar Mountain Formation.
No.
Unless you count Raptor Red, I guess. That's a novel.
It's a fantasy book. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah. I'm pretty excited about this.
Okay, well, then I'm not going to do this while I'm talking to you because I'll probably blow through something really important.
But yeah, well, shoot, so what would you say your area of notoriety is, Krista? As a river runner or as an author? Or
There's the book. This
all
is
of
what
the
got
above?
me going.
This is one of my books. This is about the late Triassic. It's about the Chinle Formation, so largely about petrified forest, but also the Chinle, kind of everywhere. Where we find it. So that was one of them, and then I did one on the late Cretaceous of Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, and now this one, and I think I'm gonna, let's see, I've got the late Triassic, the early Cretaceous, the late Cretaceous. Now I just got to go to Dawn of the Jurassic.
Just flip through it real quick.
Okay.
Let 'em see
It's all right.
how beautiful this thing is.
it is a gorgeous book,
Okay.
it really is.
Oops.
We got to do this with this.
So, my books, I think I mentioned this before, they are all about illustration. I love cool pictures of critters. And I was trained as a paleontologist, but long ago I decided that I wanted to still get out and do field work, but I wanted to try and translate it to the general public.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of, books about things, but they don't go into much detail, and I love recreating environments, whole environments. Like, it's not just about dinosaurs. And so these are what my books look like. This new one will be a slightly different, dimensions and everything, but it'll have, Ron Blakey's maps, photographs of fossils, reconstructions, just diagrams and all kinds of things. So I'm really excited about it. In fact, I was just talking to Ed about, we took one of his of a potential dung beetle burrow underneath a dinosaur copperlight from the upper yellowcat member
Pretty neat, yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
So, I'm into all of it. I like all of it.
Dinosaurs are just part of the environment out
Dinosaurs
here,
are just part of
and
the environment,
you really can't
so-
understand that environment if you're just looking at the dinosaurs,
Thanks,
obviously.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here, this goes in it, Jim. Yeah, notoriety. I don't know. I do a lot of different things. I teach earth sciences generally to the public, in the outdoors. I'm a river guide in Grand Canyon and up in Alaska, which is really where I should be right now because it's really hot here. I'm an author. I just do a lot of things, sort of whatever I can, but I really love writing about these kinds of things because I learn so much. And, if you go get a PhD in paleontology, it generally means you have to kind of focus in on something. Jim may be one of the people that yes, he focused on ankylosaurs and other things like that, but he is all over the place with what he knows, and I just never wanted to focus. I wanted to learn as much as I could, and so doing the research, I've talked to several dozen researchers for this book, and now gotten quotes and their take on things. And the nice thing about a book like this is I don't have to, because it's not a scientific, technical paper, I can say things like, this may be, this could be because, and throw in a few different hypotheses about things. So that's kind of fun. And it's an amazing story. I mean, it's just a fascinating story.
I'm so excited for this book. Holy cow. And how long have you been working on this so far?
Let's see. I really started buckling down a couple years ago.
Okay.
And we're pretty well done. I'm waiting on 4 illustrations.
Nice.
and we're starting kind of in on design phase now, which is really exciting. And once we get the design down, and we have a designer's the color palette and all that. Then it'll go a lot faster. So, fingers crossed that we'll have it out by the end of this year, but probably more likely early next year.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, what I was going to say is I got one of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten from a friend. She said, "Your books, they're coffee table books with a brain." Yes!
That is excellent.
I love that.
That's a wonderful soundbite. Shoot.
I want them to educate people and everyone from someone who might be a professional paleontologist but just not in early Cretaceous terrestrial paleontology to just interested people who want to learn about it, and maybe they don't need to read every single word, but that's what all the illustrations are for and the captions and all that. So anyway. Very
cool. Yeah. Now, how many books have you published so far, would you say? And is this your first, self-published one?
No, so I have a press, it's called This Earth Press, and I've published 2 books under that. One is actually not at all about dinosaurs or paleontology. It's about running the river in Grand Canyon.
Oh, very cool.
It's,
is it autobiographical?
No, it's stories and artwork from boatmen who work in Grand Canyon.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, it's a really fun one.
Yeah.
And then another one about the Colorado River.
My
other books, like Dawn of the Dinosaurs and Where Dinosaurs Roam, those were published by different publishers. And, it's getting harder to publish books that are in color. This is a larger format book. I refuse to do everything in black and white because I just, we're trying to recreate a whole environment. We're trying to, what I want is for people to read this, and when they drive through the southeastern Utah desert, they're like, wow, there used to be this here. It used to be a pond, a lake, an ocean, or whatever. And so I don't think you can do that with black and white.
I agree.
So,
yeah.
I decided I did originally have a publisher, but they've kind of cut back from doing paleontology. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. And I don't know how, but I'm going to do it myself. So.
Well, we're very grateful that you have decided to go that route because I think the book would be greatly diminished if you'd done it in black and white and made it half the length or whatever else they were asking. So this is
half the illustrations is what they wanted. I'm like, you can't do it. It's 40 million years. This is a long time to talk about. So So we've been running a GoFundMe for the graphics, and I'm still a little short on that. And so every little bit helps.
Seriously, if anybody watching right now can help contribute to that, the link should be there in the chat for you. And and we just got a big old raid too. So 131 people just came in.
Woohoo!
So I think, maybe we'll reintroduce Krista here. But welcome to Paleontologizing. Science Streams, did you raid in? Is my geneticist friend who also streams on Twitch. He's really, really cool. If you're not yet following Science Streams, make sure you do that. Everyone who is already here. But
I'm kind of old school, I would use a typewriter if I could, so this is all really new for me. So hi everybody, it's I guess you're all out there, and it's really cool to think that I might be talking to people from Egypt, and wow,
people from all over the world watching right now.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So I'm here in the quarry with Krista Sadler, who is a river runner, adventurer, and author, and she is actually working on a book about the Cedar Mountain Formation, these very rocks that we're digging in right now, and all of these new dinosaurs that we've been finding. People like Jim and Don have been finding over the past, 20 plus years.
Many
This
people.
is one of the great parts of this book. Is there's so many inserts on things like you'll talk later to Ed Simpson about Ed, or Selena Marina Suarez, Lindsay Zano. I mean, these different areas coming in, working on different aspects of it. They help put the whole story together.
Yeah.
Or the beginning of the story, because the story will continue.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're working on that. Shoot, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
As we speak. But anyway, Krista Sadler is an author of a number of really, really awesome books. Dawn of the Dinosaurs, and the Grand Staircase book is called
Where Dinosaurs Roamed.
Where Dinosaurs Roamed. Yeah.
You gotta have dinosaurs in
the actual text of the title. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
They're not only about dinosaurs, because I always thought of paleontology. So I was trained as a paleontologist at Berkeley. I've worked as a preparator and, for different people. And I've always thought of paleontology as the original or it's one of the original time machines.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do is do justice to all the work that, all of you guys are doing out here, but also recreate an environment, recreate what our world used to look like. I mean, this is our planet. It's so cool to think about everything that used to be here,
For sure.
It's so
This kind of perspective that can give you is something really, really special. So, yeah.
So, and I think one of the cool things that I was going to, mention about this, not the book so much, but I do talk about it in the book, but also research in the Cedar Mountain Formation. Like you're seeing here, this quarry, this is what we think of as paleo, right? We think of this as paleontology. People out there digging around and using hammers and chipping things. But the Cedar Mountain Formation has, Jim and his colleagues have brought in so many people from so many different disciplines. I've never seen this many different disciplines going into dating the rocks, and not even just the standard dating, but there's like 6 different ways to date, and they're all trying to back up the dates that we're getting. And then the sedimentology, and then looking at geochemistry of the rocks. Like all this stuff is coming in to help us recreate this world that all these creatures lived in. And that, I think, is one of the coolest things about it. And that's why I called it, it's going to be called Dinosaur Frontier, Utah at the Dawn of the Cretaceous.
Yes.
And I think it's a dinosaur frontier because of the dinosaurs we're finding, right? Some of the, early members of certain families and things like that. But also it's a frontier, I think, in the way paleontology is being done. There's so many different disciplines coming in on this. And,
right.
I'm talking to a guy who studies these tiny little microscopic, seed shrimp from Vienna. I mean, the seed shrimp are from here. He's from Vienna. And that's helping us understand the dates of these rocks and narrow it down and focus the dates of these rocks. And so it's a really cool story.
It is really cool. Yeah, that kind of integrative aspect it's a big part of paleontology nowadays, and it's cool to think that, we're providing a good example of that with our work here in the Cedar Mountain. And that's the thing, too, is that there's so many people in the general public who might be familiar with the Hell Creek fauna or the Morrison Formation, but the Cedar Mountain is increasingly important the more things that we find here. I'm just really excited for people in the general public to get excited about these fossils and about these environments because of your book. Like, that's going to be, it's going to be huge. Yeah.
God, the Cretaceous.
Yeah.
We really hope to use this for political leverage.
Political leverage. I'm just writing the book to get people into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
The other cool thing about this is that, the sort of, the Cedar Mountain Formation was originally, it was kind of separated out from the Morrison Formation, the underlying Morrison, by the lack of dinosaurs, right? People are like, it looks a lot like the Morrison. Why don't we just call... No, it's not the Morrison, because the Morrison's chock full of dinosaurs. Cedar Mountain Formation has no dinosaurs at all, so we're going to call them 2 separate formations. And the punchline is, hello!
We've got 40 million years of dinosaurs in this formation.
Exactly, and it's like doubled the number of dinosaur taxa from Utah.
Yeah.
And, so it's such a great example of how you just, keep moving through science. And this is how science works. There's never an ending point with science.
Yep.
You can say, there's no dinosaurs there, so we're going to call it this formation, and then we'll just never go back. You can't do that because, this is how science works. So, anyway.
Very, very cool. I cannot wait for this book to come out.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And
and I have a hard time asking for money, but if you guys, I don't care if it's $5.
Seriously.
It will help because I really want good illustrations. And
you're paying the artist, too. I mean, that's another really important thing to mention. Like, artists often get the short shrift, and you've absolutely not been doing that. And that's super admirable.
Trying to pay them what they ask for.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it should be the way that everybody does things.
Yeah.
So
well, any help is appreciated. Pass the word around. Anybody if you got any kids in the family that love dinosaurs, there'll be lots of pictures of them.
Absolutely.
Big teeth,
If you're the sort of person who bemoans the lack of, good information available to the public about science, if you wish there were better books on dinosaurs, this is a way you can actually like make a difference here. So,
You might tell
yeah.
them your website.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a I have a couple websites.
Yeah.
I sell all my books, the ones I've published and the ones I've written. I sell them on, it's called thisearthpress.com. So it's just
Nice.
one word.
We'll get a link for that in the
Press.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, you can check them out.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's one of her books that we should start with? Asked Hogan. Do you have a book you'd like to recommend as one to start with?
That I've written?
Yeah.
Well, so I wrote a book, it was a long time ago, and we've been, updating it every few years. It's about the history of life in this whole region, the Colorado Plateau. It's a little book, it's called Life in Stone. It's
I don't have that one yet, yeah.
$12.95 or something.
I need to pick that up.
It doesn't focus on any one thing. I mean, it goes through, literally, we start at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, 1.2 billion years ago with the earliest fossils there, and we go all the way up to, Pleistocene stuff. So nothing gets a lot of press, but I think it's a really fun way to start learning about this whole region.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on it.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to have to get that one myself. I've got Dawn of the Dinosaurs, and I've got your book on Grand Staircase, and they're both phenomenal. Like,
Thanks.
serious. I mean, and I'm picky about books. Chat, you know that. So, shoot, make sure that you check those out. And if you can contribute to the GoFundMe for the new Cedar Mountain book, I would personally really appreciate that. I've personally given about $200 so far, I think.
Yeah, and you're all being thanked in the acknowledgments. Unfortunately, not my name, because that would be like 50,000 words, maybe. But I am so appreciative because, it takes a lot to put a book out, and all of these I sent proposals to Johns Hopkins and University of Utah Press and all these different presses, and they all said, I'd hear back, oh, this is great, this is so important, this is such an important subject, I'm so glad you're doing this, but we're not going to publish it. So I am eternally grateful. If anyone has, or just pass the word around. And if you
seriously.
can't donate money now, save up a little money to buy it when it
Get
comes
the book,
out.
yeah, holy cow.
It's going to come out.
Yeah.
I don't, we will figure it out. I will take out a loan, I will second mortgage my home, whatever I have to do, I will do it, because it's coming out. I worked too hard on it. Doing a book is a little bit like having a child, so I've been pregnant for like close to 3 years now, and I just I want to give birth to this book, and
see it thrive and take on the world, Yeah, and not to toot my own horn too much, but apparently I'm in the book, right?
You are in the book, that's true. He's both quoted, so each chapter has when I interviewed people, I'd usually record them just so I could transcribe it perfectly and not get everything wrong. And the first time I was out here with all these guys,
what, 2022, I think?
Yeah, 2022.
Yeah.
And Danny's got a quote, and then I have a chapter in the book on just sort of citizen science, and then also other ways to engage with paleontology. Because the book isn't just about, okay, we're just starting with the Cedar Mountain and we end with the Cedar Mountain. I really want people to understand the background behind how paleontology works and how we do it. So there's a chapter on field work and things like that. But then also other ways to get involved. And if your idea of a blast is not coming out here and laying in the dirt and not taking a shower for 3 weeks and things like that, you can get involved, in like what Danny's doing. So he's in the book.
Can't wait. Holy cow. Yeah. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, maybe you'll get some new
potentially,
new visitors. I don't know. It's cool. There's so many different ways, and I said this in that chapter. I said, up until pretty recently, the only way that we could really do, get any sort of popular stuff about paleontology, unless it was National Geographic, was some pretty bad and really not very accurate, movies, right?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but the first Jurassic Park had a little bit to be desired, left a little to be desired.
They only get worse after that.
We could find, sonar, use sonar to find perfect.
It's like my most common question that I get in chat every day. Yeah, it's about that.
So it's really nice to have, things like what you're doing to just bring people right in. I mean,
Yeah.
this whole new, I sound like an old person, but like this whole new computer age, it's really, the technology is really allowing people to learn and to be involved without having to, come out here and do this. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and how lucky are we to be able to listen to Krista talk about this right now? That's pretty cool. So I hope you appreciate that at home, everybody. But we've got a question from Jody Fish. If you've got time, Krista.
Yeah, I don't know what time it is, but
it's like almost 1:45.
okay, yeah.
What was the biggest unexpected surprise you found researching this book and the Cedar Mountain Formation?
Oh.
Yeah. Might be a tricky one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I mean, okay, so this is there's probably a couple, but I mean, one of them was just, I love talking to all the researchers. It's so much fun, and I wish I could have like interviews, video interviews in the book, because everybody is so excited about what they do. Like Greg Ludvigsen, who's not a paleontologist, he's, does really interesting geochemistry stuff and things like that. He's like, dinosaurs are just magic, So talking to everyone, meeting all these people I'd heard of, and getting to talk to them, that was really fun. And then I think the complexity of this formation is really delightfully shocking.
Yeah,
'Cause,
it's wild.
Every layer, every rock layer is more complex than we like to make it out. But this whole formation, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like usually about, 150 feet to maybe 300 feet thick. Really thin layer. It is not everywhere across the region. It's like this little
shows up in
strip,
patches, yeah.
And it may represent 40 million years worth of Earth history, which is a huge amount of time.
That's 2/3 of the age of mammals.
Yeah,
equivalent right
is
there.
a huge amount of time. So,
yeah.
And when you look at, say, Grand Staircase, things are they're a lot easier there, right? You
Yeah.
have the Tropic Shale, and then you have the Natarita, and then you have the Straight Cliffs. So yes, there's complexities within those layers, but this is a really complex formation and complex story.
Yeah.
From east to west, it's a completely different story. You don't find the same thing here that you find over there. The Mustn't Touch It member, which is crazy cool, doesn't exist over here in the east.
Yeah, shoot, on this side of the swell, yeah.
So I think the complexity of it is really cool, and then how that ties into the, how the story fits into all of that complexity. It's a really cool time in Earth history. We had a massive mountain range 100 miles to the west, and had snow on top of it, and you look out there now and you're like, oh, where are you now, please?
Snow sounds pretty good right about now.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah.
So it's a really interesting time period in Earth history. I knew about the Cedar Mountain Formation 20 years ago, but all we really knew was the early stuff that you always said. It's about 125 million years old. There's Utah raptor, there's a couple other things, Gastonia, things like that. But it's so much more complex and so much more interesting than just that.
Yeah, and shoot, this is like a brand new idea too that I think you might talk about in the book, the impact hypothesis for, do you get into that? For the beginning of the Cretaceous?
Oh, I don't get into that.
Don't get into that yet? Okay, yeah.
Just the whole idea of what happened to all those
all the stuff in the late Jurassic.
Dinosaurs. I sort of mentioned briefly a few hypotheses.
Yeah.
I mean, the Morrison is a whole separate book, and if you want to check that out, go read John Foster's Jurassic West.
Yeah, excellent book.
It's a great book about the Morrison.
Yeah.
I kind of briefly mentioned but this is one of the things we're trying to figure out. How was there such this massive faunal turnover?
Yeah, it's like, where does everybody go? Yeah.
Classic dinosaurs in the Morrison, and then all of a sudden, you start the late Cretaceous or the early Cretaceous, and you're like, these are all weird and different.
Yeah.
Where did they come from? So, and the other thing that's really fun is how you can use dinosaur fossils to determine or to get some ideas about the position of the continents.
Yeah,
right?
Jim has
Like,
talked about this. This is so neat. Yeah.
It's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we always think, okay, plate tectonics, you have to do plate tectonic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And dinosaurs, maybe I'll tell you what they ate and what kind of environment it was or whatever. But to be able to say these dinosaurs are way, way, way too similar to these guys over here in England, and it probably means
It's not a
that
coincidence.
there was a path,
They were migrating.
you know,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really cool too. And to be able to see this change over time from, you know, I've named the chapters based on this whole plate tectonic thing. Like, for instance, the chapter about the yellow cat is called European Union because
Nice, yeah.
you know we think
All these things are probably coming over from Europe. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
and maybe it wasn't absolutely connected like boom, but there were land bridges, there were
Sure.
island hopping, you know, things like that. And then you've got a time when it appears that North America really didn't have a connection to other places, and so things were sort of evolving in place and a little more endemic.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you end up with, all of a sudden you're realizing that things are coming over from Asia. So now your connection is coming over from Asia, and you're looking at, you know, the formation of Alaska and things like that. So it's, that part's really cool too. And I'm sorry to who asked that question because
It's,
I don't do
it was a
anything.
good answer. Yeah.
I don't do anything. I'm starting to take on Jim's personality, which is a little scary.
She was an introvert before she started.
I know. I didn't talk to anyone before I started working with him. So, anyway.
well, we got a shorter question, perhaps.
Okay.
And that is, people in chat are saying it's the most important question in life. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, okay. Oh boy. Let's see. I probably can't say that it's a single taxon or a single species.
Fair.
But I really do, and this is not because I'm trying to get in good with Jim. I love the ankylosaurs.
They're really neat, aren't they? Yeah.
Crazy, cool creatures.
Butt
I liked
kisser.
it before I met you, Jim. No, I mean, everyone loves the theropods, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, the theropods are cool.
They're overexposed,
Yeah.
maybe, though.
But,
Yeah.
but I just, these crazy tanks walking around. I
Yeah.
also love things like Uintatherium and, you know,
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. These wild, you know, headgear and... So, yeah, I
Yeah.
like the ankylosaurs.
It's a good answer. Yeah.
I
yeah.
just spent 6 days with a 15-year-old kid who was just all about the theropods. Like, he's
Yeah.
like, I want to find
Dope.
a theropod. Uh-oh.
Looks like it's going to hold for now. Let's hope.
Hopefully. Yeah.
We are getting some clouds coming over the horizon.
Good. Maybe.
There's some rain over there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
But yeah, we'll have some time if it decides to mosey on this way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dust Devil edged by us. When they hit directly, that's bad.
I want
But,
to know what that person's favorite dinosaur is.
Oh shoot! Yeah, everybody in chat respond with your favorite dinosaurs, and chat will be just a mess until.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That.
But yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Krista.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for showing up, everybody. This is super cool, and yeah, I think one of the greatest things that I love about paleontology is, and I know this is going to sound so Pollyanna and so sappy, but the people.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's really fun. I love working with paleontologists, and
Especially in the field, yeah.
yeah, in the field, yeah, and in the lab they get a little cranky sometimes, but
Sometimes,
you know.
yeah.
No, everybody's
Cranky in the field.
yeah. Well, Dawn gets cranky in the field, but you know, Dawn notwithstanding, no, it's a great field, and whether you want to do it as a profession or not, it's a great thing to know about. It's always good to know about our history.
The history of
our
life on
planet.
Earth, yeah. Provides a perspective that like nothing else does. That's why paleo is so important.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Really, really excited for the new book, and thank you so
Yeah,
much for sitting
thanks.
down and talking with us.
Yeah,
Really
thanks so much
appreciate
for
it.
having me, and
Yeah.
guess I'll go fly home now. I had my flight was canceled and delayed, so I thought, okay, do I want to go hang out in Moab, or do I want to just go back out and hang out with these guys? And it was like pretty easy, so I came out and I brought some drinks, and
Yeah.
We're better than Moab.
yeah, you guys are better than Moab. And they let me dig around a little bit and talk to you guys, so thanks a lot.
Thank you, Krista. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm gonna get some water. Shoot. Let me scoot over here. But yeah, Krista Sadler, everybody. Seriously, if it's possible for you to contribute to that GoFundMe, even just a few dollars makes a difference. You know, we'd really appreciate it. It's so difficult to publish really high-quality scientific books nowadays, especially ones that are so well written and illustrated and aimed at, not just at specialists but at a general public. We really need this book to come out. It's going to come out, Krista said, like even if she has to put a second mortgage on her house or anything. But if you can contribute and maybe reduce the size of that second mortgage, we'd all be very grateful. Me especially. I'm excited to be in that book. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. And there you go, Jody Fish. Yeah. Book printing is not cheap. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, Krista's gonna take off in just a few minutes. I'm gonna drink some water, and then we'll do some digging, answer some questions, and we'll talk to Doc Simpson as well.
Insurance, anybody need therapy on it and stuff, need to be looked at, and like a day or two later, I got a message. We're not covering that because you already made a claim with workers' comp.
Oh yeah, no, it's not made a claim with workers.
No, I should never have done that. That was my supervisor's advice.
Anyway, yeah.
An injury on the job.
And thank you so much, Murph, for those gift subs. I really appreciate that. Excellent. Yeah. And Miss Caprical, what were you saying? Yeah. And Voodoo Weightlifting said, "Are dinosaurs real?" What do you think we're out here digging? Of course they are. Shoot. Would you like to see some fossils in the ground? So we're digging up a new kind of iguanodont here, which is a beaky plant-eating dinosaur. And I'm not sure how many bones we have exposed at the moment.
Great to see you.
These have been in the ground for 142 million years. We try and get them capped and protected as soon as possible. But Ethan's got a metatarsal under there, one of the upper bones.
You gotta fly over flag and then come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Fisher's got a few odds and ends over here, the ends of some limb bones
Oh, you got
on the ground.
This is more exposed now. There's this.
Nice. Oh, that looks good.
Bye,
Shoot, thanks, Fish.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
likewise.
Bye, Ethan.
Bye, Krista.
See you, Krista. Thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it was great meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Safe travel.
Bye. Thanks.
All right. And
Ken Burn.
oh, and Miss Capri Kell says, sorry for the repeat, sitting here thumbing through where dinosaurs roamed while you were talking with her. That's awesome. You said you just got that in the mail like a couple minutes ago, right? How cool is that? Yeah.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah. So we were talking about the book just the other day, and yeah, and some people decided to order it. So Miss Capri Kell, I hope you enjoy it. It's a wonderful book. Yeah.
Yeah, and Dawn of the Dinosaurs. And that's what got me to say, Krista, would you get her doing a book on the Cedar Mountain? I just loved the way it was laid out.
Yeah.
You know, covering a lot of ground, but, you know, at a very nice level to bring in people, you know, different levels of interest.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book. I mean, it's just, and pretty books that actually say something are pretty nice.
I think sometimes we as scientists, too, sometimes kind of forget, like, for people in the general public, something doesn't necessarily become real to them unless they see it in a popular book or in a documentary or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking all the way up through middle management, basically.
Yeah.
Most of the population of our nation
Yep.
have no clue what's going on out here. This will help some, as well as some other activities that we're trying to do.
Yeah, so we're very excited about that book. Holy cow. I'm going to have to get copies for probably like my mom, one for my dad, grandparents. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can you believe that? Yeah. But, yeah, good stuff.
But yeah, it's a busy day. More guest stars than you can imagine.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. We're going to talk with Ed in a little bit if he's up for that. Talk about some sedimentology and about why it's not just the dinosaurs that are important at a site like this. But, yeah. And we had another question. Let's see, what was that? May I ask what Don thought about that plant matter that Jim was saving for him by the hill? I think he was saving that for Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk to him about that. Yeah. But first, for our person... Oh, and will the book be available in Europe? I believe it will be. Yeah.
And there'll be a link to her site.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect. You can get
For sure.
to that site from anywhere on the planet.
Yep. Yeah.
We need to promote these. I mean, you get it in libraries.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to be calling up all the libraries in my area asking, hey, where's this book? Can you order that? Because it's, I don't know, this is really cool stuff. You know, you got to love the Hell Creek and the Morrison and, Petrified Forest and stuff, but this is cutting edge stuff that we and other teams are doing here in the Cedar Mountain, and it'd be nice to see that get some popular attention.
A whole new world, and
yeah.
We're trying to figure out how do we protect this and ensure ongoing, constructive research and opportunities for the public to come out here and learn more about it.
I put that in the title today, chatting about the history, or excuse me, the future of fossil discoveries and protection for these areas in the Cedar Mountain, and we're really hoping that this book makes that easier. Gets people excited, gets people to appreciate how important these fossils are, and that they need to be protected.
Yeah, it's on no one's front page. I mean, at all. And this whole yellow cat sequence through Poison Strip.
Yeah.
Other than Fisher just found something outside. The first thing outside of Paradox Basin.
Right.
But basically, it's restricted to the Paradox Basin. And it's Grand County. One county in Utah has about a 20 million year record known nowhere else in North America. May well nowhere else in the Northern Hemisphere at this level of productivity.
That's exciting. Shoot.
Just scratching it. We're just, this is going to be the stuff that people younger than me are going to learn a lot about. The next generation is going to develop this, and it's exciting as all get out to me, because we know the data is here. The info is here. Just we need people working on these various problems and bringing in new technologies, new approaches. As I always say, your job is to prove that Kirkland was an idiot and all his early hypotheses were just trash.
That's what moves science forward.
That's how science moves. If it's not falsifiable, if I'm coming out with stories that no one can test, it's not science.
Yep.
You can come out here, you can dig things, you can look at the geology, you can do geochemistry, you can see if those radiometric dates make any sense whatsoever.
Right.
That's how it works. And we build upon it and strengthen, the pillars that support the various thoughts and what's going on. And we keep finding new pillars and new parts of this 45 million years. It's a huge amount of story. We're just nicking at it. I mean,
it is a new frontier. I mean, shoot, that's why that's such a good title for the book too. Dinosaur Frontier. Yeah, cool stuff. Now let's go down and bother Fisher for a second, because somebody was asking about, are dinosaurs real in the chat? No. No, Fisher definitely put these here. Yeah. But oh man, that looks nice. That could be the end of a humerus or something.
Yeah, that's the kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
This, I'm not so sure about what it is yet. It seems super broad to be a limb bone. But
nice.
Sure.
So yeah, let me.
That looks like proximal humerus. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So yeah, end of the upper arm bone there. So that.
I kind of wanted you to take a look at this, Ethan, because it's really flat.
That could be a little osteoderm, maybe.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe it's theropod scully, how flat it is. And
could be. It
kind
just
of the
looks
same
shaped like a wafer, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But
well, I thought it maybe was going deeper in there, but I might be wrong. I don't know.
This might be maybe this is a giant vert or something. This could be like a transverse, and this could be the centrum. Maybe a big ankivert or something.
And then I've got this and this.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll start finding giant.
Get a close up of that humerus there, if that's what it is.
It's going to confuse a lot.
Very
Paper
cool.
will be a lot simpler for you.
Well, neat. We'll probably be checking in with you periodically, Fisher, throughout this stream.
Right now, it's really easy to show it's not the same thing.
What do you think, Jim? What do you think, John?
It's something big.
It looks like a giant vert to me. And I guess once we go further away.
And do we have any of these Utah formations also in northern Arizona? Not the Cedar Mountain. We don't get that in northern Arizona. If you want to know about the dinosaurs of northern Arizona, check out Krista's book,
Dawn of the
Dinosaurs. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm trying to talk her into doing a book on Dawn of the Jurassic, which is also in northern Arizona.
Yeah.
There's I worked in Gold Springs on Ward Terrace. You're talking about the mystery thing there?
Yeah, and then there's this guy, there's this guy, this guy, this guy.
Okay, he's gonna get down.
Get down, boogie down.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. And Kendry, 500 pages, that's nuts. Wow. Yeah, textbook business is something else, too. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what your negative was of that rock right there. Huh?
Maybe humorous, but it could turn into something vastly different, too.
Somebody in the chat had a question about one of my favorite topics. Oh, Ken's going to roll his eyes. About ontogeny. The question was... the question was, how do we tell the difference between just a small young individual of a certain dinosaur species and like a different species entirely?
Yeah.
Like, it's difficult. That's the thing, is that dinosaurs change a lot through ontogeny, through their life history. So a lot of dinosaurs have pretty dramatic changes as they grow and develop. And in the past, and I would argue sometimes in the present too, paleontologists will mistake those differences in ontogeny, the changes that these animals undergo as they're growing and maturing. They'll think that those are differences between different species. But the cool thing is, since this is science, we have ways of actually testing that. And so one of the most effective ways of doing that, the most effective I would argue, is through histology. You cut open some of the bones, especially the long bones, limb bones, and you look at the growth rings inside. So that actually tells you how old that animal was when it died. Kind of like counting tree rings to tell how old a tree was. And so if something looks really small and maybe phylogenetically primitive, and then you cut it open and it turns out it's a juvenile, well, that might be your answer right there. It might be a juvenile of a previously known species. And it might look small and quote-unquote primitive because it's not fully developed yet. It's still immature. And so this sort of thing is really important. And at this site, we'll be able to do a bunch of that because we've got a bunch of different individuals of different sizes and presumably of different growth stages here. So we'll be able to do some cool histology on these guys and actually have like a growth series for this animal, which is really exciting. So we're stoked about that. Yeah. And there you go, Murph. Yeah. Murph says, true science is, with all due respect, such and such was a moron, and actually it's like this, building on the shoulders of morons. In a way, I suppose. Given that
some of us are not into insulting the giants whose shoulders were our palms.
Exactly, yeah.
I tend to try to respect the folks and understand what they had to work with versus what I have to work with.
Yeah. We're working at this site right now, digging this animal up, and this is the least amount of information we will ever have on this animal right now at present. Mm-hmm. Because the more we study it, the more we learn. And so we'll make inferences about this critter right now, and some of those might turn out to be completely wrong. But the way that you figure that out is by continued work, continued testing of ideas. That's how science progresses. Yeah. Falsify older ideas. Yeah.
And Ed's trying to help us figure out why these things are here. What is this thing? I tend to call it a marsh, but it's a wet place. That's about the closest we can get for certain. Like, there's a little bit of fish and some crocodilian material.
Right. It's a clearly very muddy environment. The mudstone.
But popcorn.
Yeah.
Comes to looking at these sediments. Ed has a much better handle on processes, and heck, he's talking about processes I never learned about in college. And I'm not that much older than he is. It's just, I missed the logistics. I did.
Yeah.
I was out writing my dissertation. Looked down there lecturing about cladistic clothing. And boy, that's probably a class I should be taking.
Shoot, can we query you about that right now, Ed? About
Sure.
the depositional environment here?
Let me
and
get away from the bangers.
Yeah.
Get comfortable. You want to sit
Yeah,
on that,
find
or
a
what do
spot to sit and...
you want to sit by a rock? But in the shade, sir.
In the shade.
Here, let's get that action packer closed up. So I don't grouse at you again about...
Yeah, well, Chris is a lot lighter than I am.
So everybody, this is Ed Simpson. Doc Simpson is his username from the other day. You might remember him saying hello to us. And he was kind enough to bring us dinner last night when he dropped by camp. Or dropped into
I didn't know
camp.
somebody was a vegetarian.
Me and Fisher. But I don't know. Honestly, I should have been more proactive about saying that. But we got French fries at least, even if we didn't eat the Philly cheesesteak. But that was very kind of you, though. So thanks for bringing that.
Soggy French fries.
But yeah, so Ed, what is a sedimentologist, first of all, and why is that kind of work important?
So we study sedimentary rocks.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to put it. Lots of resources in it.
Yeah.
Oil, gas. That's the economic end.
So you could make good money as a sedimentologist, potentially.
Oh, I could have made a lot of money.
I might have to sell your soul a little bit, but yeah.
Years ago. But it's not what my interest is. It's education and trying to learn things.
Right. Yeah.
These things.
So where did you teach?
I'm still a faculty member at Kutztown University in Eastern Pennsylvania.
Nice.
I think I'm heading into year 37, maybe.
Wow. Nice.
30 years in administration. 28 of those as a department chair.
Nice.
And,
Wow.
A year and a half as an acting dean.
Excellent.
Then I got out of that really fast.
Just the palace intrigue of university life. Oh boy. The bureaucracy, yeah.
Yeah. But I had money.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I could make things happen.
Nice.
I like that. Money to you.
That's got to be a good feeling.
It was. That was the best part.
Mm-hmm. No, it's important to have somebody who knows what they're doing in that sort of a role too, because as we know, oftentimes that's not the case.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Good administrators are hard to find.
Yeah. Why is it important to study the sedimentology of a site like this? Just to explain for the viewers who might not know anything about this.
There's taphonomy.
Yeah.
So people can look at bone orientations, all that kind of stuff gives you a lot of information. But what's intriguing is what are the rocks telling us about how the bone accumulation got together. And so what's interesting to me about this is a different kind of site because it's pretty much isolated bones.
Yeah.
So and fragments and a whole variety of things. So listening to Jim, and I've been out here for how many years now, Jim? I don't know.
Over a decade.
Yeah. Oh, God, it feels old.
I dragged him into Utah Raptor Ridge. He did
nice.
very formative work on why the mega block of Utah Raptors.
Oh, that's right.
was
the
there.
dewatering feature was that?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. The first instance that we have of dinosaurs being trapped in quicksand. That's
well, that was Jim's hypothesis, and I came in to prove him wrong. I didn't.
well, shoot. That's actually a mark of high quality. Yeah.
But I did show him a few things.
So we're having him back.
So, he showed me Lake Powell, and I've spent a lot of time down in Lake Powell looking at gas and fluid escape structures there.
Okay. Neat.
And that's a whole different story.
Sure. Yeah.
So here, looking at the type of bone and hearing the descriptions, I wanted to come out and take a look at the sedimentary rocks here. So I've come up with an hypothesis that we're going to test over the next probably 2 months.
Oh, quick. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 2 decades.
I will not live that long.
I don't know about that. But,
that's pushing it.
That's refreshing to hear, though, that you'll be able to test some of these ideas in the next you know,
Yeah. So
before Halloween. Holy cow.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's essentially the bone. What appears to me is that the bones are at the bottom of what we call a hyperconcentrated flow. That's Jim didn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what it is you think of a normal clear river, and people have always heard about debris flows.
Sure. Yeah.
So you have those two different things, and they behave totally different. What happens when you mix them together? Then it behaves incredibly different.
Okay.
And
So you've got
it's-
flowing water, and then you've got a bunch of debris trapped within that. Is that the idea?
Essentially. So what it does is change the physical characteristics of the water. So it can transport bone. It can actually erode, and typically what you'll do is you'll get a flash flood, and as it's moving, it's scouring and brings the material up, which changes the physical properties.
Okay.
And those physical properties, as soon as you start dropping the water velocity, sediment comes out.
Right. Okay.
Because it's not clear water, it's sediment dominated, you don't get the physical sedimentary structures you get if they know cross bedding and all those kinds of things, totally suppressed. When you look at them, typically in thin section or even hand lens and stuff, what you'll see is the grain size is mixed. Water doesn't like to do that. It likes to mix things with that velocity.
Sure. Yeah.
So it'll segregate and sort. So one of the characteristics of these hyperconcentrated flows are mix of grain size. So everybody's been talking on the chat about, another big pebble out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the characteristics of hyperconcentrated flows, because you've got this incredibly thick slurry that can support these kinds of mixed sizes.
Gotcha. So by having more material there in the water, this debris in there, that allows you to pick up things like pebbles.
Yeah, you can, and hold them.
Gotcha.
And when
So it almost makes them buoyant in the sense that, like, the water with all the debris in it is more dense than that object. Is that kind of the...
that's pretty much it.
Okay, wow.
So they can, often you will see some change in grain, pebble size vertically. You'll see a very subtle change in grain size of the coarses component will drop out. So there's a lot of ways to look at it.
Right.
So what we did this morning is we collected a whole series of, on the high wall, we collected a whole series of chips.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to send them off to a company that makes what we call thin sections.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So a thin section, you basically take a glass slide, you polish it down, get it nice and flat, you epoxy it on, then you cut it down.
Just grind it so you can shine light through it.
So you can shine the light through it.
A lot of my viewers are familiar with this process already because of bone histology.
Yeah.
So this is a similar thing for...
It's the exact same process.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot more.
Since a lot longer.
Yeah. Sealy, in 1825 or something like that?
Really?
Was looking at thin sections.
Is that Harry Govey or Sealy?
Yeah, there was a whole bunch, yeah. Those guys looked at a whole bunch of stuff. But they
Cool.
use Canadian balsam, so that stuff just recrystallized. So we'll look at the epoxy, we'll cut it, look at the thin section and see, one, if there's a grain size change vertically. Yeah. Which I'd expect, but I'm not expecting much. Look at what the sorting is inside of it. Is it clays and silts? Is it a lot of other things? So we've got a whole bunch of ways to go in and test it. I'm optimistic. Uh-oh, they're sending me things. Well, that's interesting. That looks like a pretty good piece of plant.
That's what I thought.
Sorry.
This is great.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Science in action here. Yeah.
No, I think it's a leaf scale from the cycad.
Oh. Awesome. Love cycad.
That's my guess.
It's not
Very
like
cool.
taxonomy you can do that preservation, sadly.
Yeah.
A leaf scale from a cycad. So not from the caudex, but from the fronds?
Probably, yeah.
Wow. Very cool. Awesome.
It looks like a scale of some kind. Yeah.
Well, worth keeping, yeah.
How narrowly would you be able to... How far would you be able to narrow that down
Not far.
based on that? So just cycadoidea or whatever?
Yeah. Paleobotanists would look at me and say, why did you bother?
Yeah, exactly.
They're very fussy.
Yeah.
But still, we don't
It's gotta be
anything like
No, no, that's worth.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't
I don't know.
Seen that. Haven't seen that here. So.
Yeah. I get excited when I see a Sago cycad, you know, planted in front of a library. So,
Yeah.
like, a fossil cycad bit, you know, I'm over the moon. That's really cool.
But there's no other mother.
Yeah, it's just no structure. I mean, it's you can see some structure in there, but it's just vague.
Wow.
Yep.
Pretty neat. Yeah, shoot.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of plant material in here. It's just most of it are ghosts.
Yeah.
Because I've posted on a few things these ghosts of what we like call, you know, proto-Tempskia.
Yeah.
You know, it's
He had me trying to look that one up.
Prototempskia.
There's no proto-Tempskia.
it's just what we're calling
Genus
it.
name does not exist.
It's not
Yeah.
like it's not classic Tempskia.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it, I'm thinking.
Uh-huh.
Maybe tied to it, but we hope we have someone at the Pro Museum working on that part of the story. Hopefully will join us maybe next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I like people, or I'll bring her out here, you know, on her own on a separate cooler weather trip.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
to sample some of this stuff.
Uh-huh. Well, let me know if you do. I'd love to join it.
I mean, I think something's going to probably hit us.
Yeah.
Wind's picking up, and we're,
I mean, we don't
So I think you guys, we got a bit of time, but
oh, yeah.
yeah.
We need,
I would,
we don't need the shade right now. We might as well take these down before it gets really bad.
That's probably smart before they get torn up. Yeah. Let me know if you want a hand on. But, yeah. Yeah. And, what's that?
I was just saying, you know, you can talk to him for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't deal with this, but I can do say that.
So since we have a, you know, expert sedimentologist on camera right now, I don't know, bringing it down to like 5-year-old level, how do we study a site like this in order to determine the ancient environment here?
This one, it's putting all the pieces of the puzzle together that are around here.
Uh-huh.
I think Jim has talked about the histosols.
I don't know if he's talked about histosols this summer, yeah, or paleosols or anything like that.
Yeah, above this site is the. It's a big, beautiful chirp bed. It is spectacular.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Is that the one that's over by camp?
Yeah, it's a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the. Jim calls it silicified peat.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that last summer.
Yeah,
in a stream.
it's
Yeah.
silicified peat. So peat is a subdivision of this organic rich soils. Got really into. I've been trying to get students to work on that, undergrads. It's all fun and games until you got to cut a chert on
Shoot, yeah.
because
The diamond saw for that?
Oh, the diamond
Yeah.
saw. It doesn't matter though.
Oh, man.
Because it goes through and it chatters. Then you sit there and tell them, well, now you have to grind it down.
Yeah.
So, a bunch of students have studied that over the years. And when we look at it in thin section, it had all these compressed features in it. And I am not a paleobotanist, and I looked at the stuff and was like, I don't know what this is. Then 2 years ago, Jim gave me some pieces of Tempskia poison strip to make thin sections, and I'm like, but it's not down here supposedly.
Right, yeah.
Because Tempskia is a younger type of.
Hence proto-Tempskia, like Jim was saying. But
Yeah, so
yeah.
So I was stuck. Then when he said proto-Tempskia, I'm going, that's what it is.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Proto-Tempskia matte surface. So I've got beautiful thin sections of it. I've got SEM work on it.
Nice. That's scanning electron microscope work for anybody wondering at home.
Then I've got, it's chert, so it's kind of boring when you look and try to do the geochemistry, but there's other things that are occurring, barite cross-cutting, gypsum, which are all younger features. And the interesting thing about histosols is there's lots of barium in them. So when
Weird.
you look at modern ones, the plant material likes barium. Which is strange. But,
That is interesting.
yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
I have no idea. I'm sure it's out there in the literature, and I just haven't hit it yet. But it's one of the things that is characteristic of like the South American histosets. They have barium in it, and there's barium floating around here a lot.
Interesting.
So a lot of these rocks have a lot more barium than barite than people know. Almost anything we do on EDS from here, or under the scanning electron microscope, we do the
From the Cedar Mountain, barium is really
barium is in there.
really prevalent. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's common out west here.
This might be completely wrong, but would that be like the Cedar Mountain equivalent of uranium from the Morrison, where there's just it's prevalent in this environment and it's just floating around for some reason?
There's
Or?
a lot of barite around here.
Okay.
And it's euhedral barite, crystals of barite, and it's cross-cutting veins that are there.
Okay.
And it's quite surprising.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, shoot, can I ask you how you first got into sedimentology and like why you're fascinated by this kind of general field of geology?
I saw, as an undergrad, I saw a picture of the Navajo sandstone.
Yeah.
And I went, that's cool.
So you can remember that specific
I can remember
instant.
that specific instant.
That is really neat. Wow.
That's
to have an
cool.
origin story like that,
But,
yeah.
But my grandfather was a coal miner, so.
Oh, okay.
So
That's sedimentary
and
too. So it's in your blood.
it's
Epigenetic sedimentary.
It's burned in my genetics from eastern Pennsylvania coal fields.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, they're, the whole history of the
Yep.
coal field is.
That's mostly Pennsylvanian in age, is it not?
Yes. Some Permian. Some Permian in the western part of the state.
Nice.
I tried to stay away from. That's why I'm not a paleobotanist, because I just had all those ferns and collected ferns.
Just got burnt out on ferns from early
I
age.
got burnt out from ferns, but I can tell you St. Clair fossil locality from any specimen in the world.
Nice.
It is.
Very
I
cool.
can tell it.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that got it. So when I decided to go to graduate school, I worked with ELN sedimentologist.
Nice.
So that was and then I worked in modern dirt in New Mexico at White Sands.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah.
And let's see. DD Alex says, I just got here late. Who is Danny interviewing? This is Dr. Ed Simpson from Pennsylvania. And he is here trying to help make sense of what's going on in these rocks. What kind of depositional environment is this? What was going on in this environment 142 million years ago? So,
Yep.
yeah.
I try to fill in some of the blanks.
Yeah. It's funny, like as science advances, so many of us increasingly siloed into these little tiny niches.
I try to avoid that totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's being at a smaller university allows me to do it.
Yeah.
I don't like to specialize. I am a Aeolian sedimentologist. No, I like to dabble in trace fossils. I like to do anything.
What's your favorite trace fossil that you found, or that you've worked on? I mean, what interests you the most?
Pustular Ichneus Rebecca Hunti.
Named after Rebecca Hunt Foster?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know she had
Yep.
an ichnotaxon named after her.
It's a big one.
Really? Shoot, what is it?
It's it's the algomats at Mill Canyon.
Oh, that is so cool. Very neat.
Basically, the whole site's your type specimen.
So the whole site, anywhere
Wow.
around there is the type specimen. So actually, my students, we were working on it, and they thought, we could name this. We have to name it after Rebecca.
That's awesome. She was instrumental in getting that site protected in the first place, wasn't she?
That's the reason
She worked
why.
real hard.
Yeah.
She raised all the money for the initial boardwalks and stuff, and sadly was out of the loop on a lot of things that afterwards, after she went to Dinosaur.
We heard about that, yeah. But yeah.
That's my favorite one.
That's really neat. Yeah. Shoot, and I'm trying to think. There are purported algomats up in, is it Connecticut? Those theropod tracks. Like someone was reporting that there might be imprints of feathers, and then it turns out it might be.
It might be an algomat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of those things we looked at.
Gerlinski.
Yeah. I went by his poster and said, man, you need to think about this.
Oh no.
All of us did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably algomat.
Interesting.
And They're really, really common. It's just getting keyed into recognizing.
Right. Yeah. And to be 1,000% clear, chat, I'm not saying that there's no evidence of feathers on dinosaurs. We've got loads of evidence of feathers on dinosaurs. Just one particular instance from the Connecticut River Valley, right? Yeah, where they're probably not imprints of feathers. It's probably just like algae that this animal was sitting on, and it kind of furrowed in interesting ways. And
just sort of squished it like a rug.
Yeah. Pretty neat. Yeah. I won't keep you for too much longer, but I want to ask...
I'm just dumping buckets. They don't let me near bone.
Okay, let me at least crouch down here so I'm not standing all the time.
They don't let me near bone.
We know better.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Did anybody catch the name of the algal mats? I think Claire wants to put it in the chat so anybody could look it up if they'd like to. What was it?
Pustular ichnus.
Pustular ichnus.
Rebecca Hunt Foster A.
Rebecca Hunt Foster A.
Yeah, I know. It's like I named Pond Scum after her. It's like, I thought she'd be mad at me.
Hey, it's an organism, you know? That's a degree of immortality that most people cannot claim, to have a critter named after them. But what was it?
It's trace fossils.
Trace fossils. Yeah. Well, Jim, when I say critter, that's just shorthand for organism. It doesn't necessarily mean animal. But yeah. And pustular. So ichnus would be ICHNUS, Claire. But pustular, I think you got right.
Yeah.
Rebecca Hunt Foster Ray?
Yeah, it ends in A.
Okay, gotcha.
Feminine.
Nice. Yeah. And Dovahkiin, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm talking with Dr. Ed Simpson from Pennsylvania. He's joined us to help unravel the mysteries of this particular depositional environment where we're finding our new iguanodont here. And yeah. And why is it important for... Broad question here. Why is it important for people in the general public to understand the history of life on Earth? You know? Maybe with an emphasis on sedimentology.
I've actually worked in Africa in 3.2 billion year old rocks.
Shoot! Wow.
Yeah. And I've worked in the Precambrian a lot, Africa and Australia. The world has changed. When you sit on 3.2 billion year old rocks, it is spooky. How different they are than
I can imagine. Yeah.
From the Mesozoic. It is just weird stuff.
Did you find evidence of, critters in there, organisms?
Yeah, we actually, Nora Nofke, who's a microbial mat expert, the record has been broken. We actually found 3.2 billion year old microbial mats.
And that was the oldest at that time?
In clastic deposits.
Oh.
So that was the oldest for... Oh man! Until they went down in Australia and found some that are like 3.5.
Nice.
But what's a plastic deposit? Huh?
Like broken sand grains. It's like a beach covered with the microbial fibers going in.
Yeah.
They're called microbially induced sedimentary structures or mist structures.
Let me grab that piece of trash before it flies away. We're going to be getting some wind as this thunderstorm approaches.
Oh, it's getting there.
Yeah. Just heard some thunder a few moments ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, just looking at the whole evolution of life, it just puts such a perspective in how you treat
they're pretty good at rinsing.
Everything. It was sitting on 3.2 was a revelation.
That is pretty awesome.
This was a weird world. It was so different.
Something dominated by, when microbial mats ruled the Earth.
That's exactly. Yeah. It was very strange.
And so how are those different from, say, stromatolites, if people at home might be more familiar with those?
Stromatolites are calcium carbonate as opposed to beach sand.
Gotcha.
So they're two different environments. Stromatolites, when they grow, they actually make a hard structure.
Right. Hence the light part, like stone,
Yeah. So they build a resistant structure. Mist structures, these clastic ones don't. You need the fibers to come in and bind them. So you can go in and rip them up. You can do just an incredible variety of things. So they were a lot harder to recognize.
Sure.
So mid 90s, that's when they started to figure out what was going on with these things.
Gotcha. So people had like seen this for decades and they didn't know what to make of it until your crew came in and.
I totally blew it in Australia. Because we had them.
Oh, and you didn't recognize them yet.
We had sands that were cracked, like wood cracks.
Yeah, weird.
Could not figure it out.
Huh.
And I actually had brought blocks back that are now at the Smithsonian.
Very cool. Wow. So you at least collected specimens that people could look at in the future. Yeah.
And it was, what are these? Then it just, when people did the modern work, it allowed us to come back in and finally, figure that out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Work from there. But
really neat.
Oh,
yeah.
Very. One of my regrets.
Yeah.
Dang.
We've all got them from the field. Yeah. I don't know.
But that was,
Yeah.
So in those things, I've worked in 1.8 billion-year-old paleosols.
Oh man.
Like that. Yeah.
Nice.
They're wild.
What kind of critters were creating soil back in 1.8 billion years ago? Because it's partly a biogenic thing, right?
It's a biogenic thing, and that's one of the interesting things that you can track over the years. That when things were in the marine, when did they go on land?
Right.
And that becomes one of the big questions. So, we had discovered microbial mats in desert settings at 2 billion. And now that's been pushed back to the continental, which goes into oxygenation of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It goes into a whole variety of things. But people were speculating that things like
ontogeny,
biological soil crusts. I don't know if they know biological soil crusts, but
is that like cryptobiotic crust?
Cryptobiotic
like we get out here? Yeah.
Cryptobiotic soils were back at 3 billion.
Shoot! Wow.
And it was the hypothesis was based on pure quartz sandstones that occur at 3.2 billion. And okay, how do you recycle these things? And it was speculated that this was biological soil crusts.
Interesting.
Aquatic soils were there. And there's more evidence and more evidence coming in about these soil crusts at 2 billion plus. I've got some at 2.0 billion cryptobiotic soils.
Nice. Wow. Shoot.
Step on it.
Don't step on it. Yeah. Don't bust the crust. So I don't have my other hat here.
Yeah.
It's just got "Don't bust the crust" on it.
Nice. Yeah. No, we've got some cryptobiotic crust growing around camp, and I'm always careful not to step on it because I've been told, that's extremely slow growing, I imagine.
Where were all the Indian tracks that made the arrowheads?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be.
Wait, don't get us started on, some drama from the beginning of the summer, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah. And we had another question in the chat, kind of to follow up on, or to modify our most important question. Not what's your favorite dinosaur, but what's your favorite kind of rock, Ed?
Sedimentary rock.
Yes.
Well, that's a given,
Donst.
If he had said igneous, I would have been like, oh, really?
Orbicular granites are kind of cool. There was a rock in Africa that was right in the center of a meteor impact.
Whoa.
It was spectacular.
Huh. So created by the impact of that bolide.
Yeah, it was the Venefort dome structure.
Huh.
And it was these big chunks of granite. You got a picture of pink granite surrounded by what we call tacholites.
Okay.
Which they look like black basalts. So you have these beautiful red granites, pieces and chunks in breccia with this black material around it. It was spectacular. They opened a quarry up and were trying to sell it as, countertops and things like that. It didn't go anywhere, but the airport in Johannesburg's columns in the front.
Oh, really?
Out of it. Yeah.
Wow. So if anybody's flying out of Johannesburg this afternoon, check it out.
You could have imported one for your counter.
The problem is the granite blocks are so big, you can't get them small enough that it would be spectacular. But that's my favorite non-sedimentary.
Yeah, that's cool.
By far.
That's really neat. That makes me wonder if at the airport at Johannesburg they have some sort of interpretive plaque or something there talking about how cool that is.
Not that I haven't been back in a couple of years, so I doubt it. I doubt it. But that was a pretty neat one. Sedimentary.
Load up some of these jackets. So
I'm not sure.
Huh. It's tough to
I
choose.
like stromatolites.
Stromatolites?
But I don't study.
Yeah. They are pretty neat. Yeah, just the antiquity of them. And
Yeah.
the idea that we still have some around today, like, you know, Sharks Bay in Australia. Sharks Bay?
Sharks Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any other places where you can see modern stromatolites like these critters
the
still live?
Bahamas, if you want to deep dive.
The
down.
Bahamas? Okay.
Yeah, they have big, giant
Salt
stromatolite
Lake.
heads. Yeah, Salt Lake is.
Oh, highly
True.
saline environment. Yeah, that makes sense. Because, I mean, the heyday of those critters was before grazers like snails and stuff evolved, right? So, like, you know, when snails come into the fore, stromatolites take a big nosedive in terms of their distribution, and
And the size of Precambrian stromatolitic heads
Yeah.
are scary.
So how big are we talking?
I have a friend who flew a helicopter and landed on one for scale.
Oh, that is cool. Wow.
I was up in northern Canada.
Uh-huh.
He could afford it.
Jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the scale on that? And you read the caption, helicopter for scale.
Oh, man. That's got to be one of the coolest figure captions ever. Yeah.
That's like 100-meter size of these things.
Jeez.
And as you go down, there's smaller ones, and smaller ones, and smaller ones. So if you have a limited outcrop, you can't see the real true scale of these things.
Right.
not the little
Yeah,
anime
they were
girl.
incredible.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Fisher drew more of his signature on there?
Yeah.
Here, let me get that for the camera.
Oh yeah.
You should show him your even better illustration.
Oh, I don't know if mine's better, but it is a dinosaur.
It's a little more mature, maybe.
I don't know. It is a dinosaur.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I accidentally put the gait is all wrong. Where he's got both right legs at the same time, up in the air. Anybody in chat an equestrian? They know the different gaits of horses and stuff. If you've got your right side goes up and then down, your left side goes up and then down. What's that called? Is that a canter? Or is that
Yeah, I'm just loading up. So
a trot? It's probably none of those things.
So it doesn't matter.
like- Yeah.
Dirt gets all over. It makes it look unsightly.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, grab whatever you want. What are you asking? What data are you asking about, Danny?
When you lift up both legs on the left side and then
A pace.
that's a pace.
That's how camels walk, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Fisher. Shoot. See, if you've got a mammal question, Fisher McDarmid, the Mammal King, is your guy. Yeah. Oh, and there goes Ed. He's helping transport some of these jackets. But, yeah, very cool.
Where do you stick that tape?
I gave it to
Give it
Ethan.
to me.
It's
I
right
think
there.
it's over there. Sorry, Fish.
Kleber says, as a functional morphologist, how could you, Danny? Well, it's, nature paper. That's the first instance of, pacing in an iguanodontian dinosaur. But yeah. Anything I can help with right now?
Yeah, we're just loading up some of these jackets so if
Yeah.
it rain, they don't get all,
It does look like that's going to hit
they
us.
don't get all dirty out.
Yeah, let's plan for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I started like a half hour early today, so I would be totally fine with wrapping up a little early as well, if we think that's wise. Yeah.
Hey, Jim, is there any reason why I can't take these jackets out of here? From
And Hibiscus, you are correct. Yeah, Paleozoic stuff is underrepresented in popular media for certain. And we do honestly need more of that, for sure. Yeah. Abstract she must submit by 11 tomorrow. Oh, gotcha, Golganek. Okay. I'll make sure that I check that. I'll check for that periodically tonight. But yeah. And Rincano says, Fisher secretly knows everything. He's just too nice to interrupt. That's true. And now here we are interrupting him as he's trying to get these things labeled. And then there's
And
Jim.
I am not polite at all. And I interrupt everyone. That's
Got
Don.
something to say.
What?
If he's got something to say, he's going to say it.
Never got to wonder what Jim's thinking. Yeah. No, sometimes I wonder what Jim's thinking. But,
Sometimes Jim's quiet, but
yeah.
rare
Other
occasion.
times he's awake.
That's right.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
We want label these, and then.
Yeah. So Fisher is taking that fossil right there that he's got wrapped up, and he's logging it on the specimen log currently. Yeah.
I'll put it right next to my guy.
But that piece of crocodilian is pretty important.
Yeah.
We haven't found a piece of the teeth for quite a bit. We've gotten some skull fragments.
So how big are the biggest rocks?
Here, they're not huge.
And Claire Burr, holy cow! Thank you for the kind words. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, 3 meters.
Appreciate you, Claire, and all your hard work. I'm really excited to watch some of those shorts that you put up as well. All those like short clips. They're already getting comments and stuff like that on YouTube, which is awesome. Gonna bring new people in, and Claire is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Just like that awesome hat. Shoot, Ken. Where's that been this whole time? Here, I should take this opportunity to pack up some of my tools as well, in case we really got to flee from here. And wow, look how cool it is right now with all this cloud cover. Pretty impressive. Ooh, 100 even. Nice.
Feels quite a bit cooler.
It does, but we got a breeze going. It was sitting on top of my tool roll there. Yeah. And anyway, Murph says, how much croc do you have? Not very much. We got, what, like a couple osteoderms and some teeth from this quarry so far?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
We've gotten some skull material from far back there. See a little piece of skull material from the slope going up.
Nice.
There on that side of that other watch there.
Okay.
They're here, but
yeah,
large. But the turtle stuff's pretty uncommon too.
Weird.
Which, well, it kind of suggests, that it's not like deep open water.
Yeah.
I always think of it as marshy. There may be times when it's flooded enough where little minnows are swimming in among the ferns, but it's not a habitat that's or a decent-sized crocodilian can submerge itself in.
So this is kind of a seasonal pond, like that.
Marsh, it's probably wet most of the time.
Okay.
A big flood. It's low, so these slurries of mud carrying pebbles and things would come in. But it's not like deep water by any means.
Gotcha.
No evidence for that.
Do you want me to start sharpening our bones?
Because we would see more crocs and turtles.
Yeah. But yeah. And Wolf of Science, you have a nice day too. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, probably like a matter of 10 or 15 minutes before we get hit. So.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pack up some of my tools, and then we'll think about wrapping up the stream. So.
Look at that bucket.
They would be on.
Put that in there. Well, no, I'll put that in its proper pouch. Ooh, hear that thunder. And the ants are going a little nuts right now. I don't know if they're trying to get back to the nest or trying to leave or what they're trying to do, but they're on one at the moment. Pack up your gear, ants, and get rained on. All right, good brush.
Did I just cover this?
Let's see, and then put that in there. I think that's everything. Trying to operate zippers with one hand. There we go. And Quake Cat UT says, I live in Moab. Hello, everyone. Hello to you. Welcome, welcome. We're not super near to Moab right now, but that's the nearest town of any real note. Yeah. Are you getting rained on out there in Moab right now? Because you should be off in that direction. Well, we're about to get some of this in just a few minutes. That's why I'm wrapping this up. But yeah. And will the rain make it easier for you to dig tomorrow? No. If anything, it'll make it harder because it'll be humid in the morning.
Well, it depends on how much.
Yeah. Yeah.
The AP benefit. Yeah, that could still miss us, go north of us.
Sure. Yeah. But it's not like we're going to get a ton of new erosion that'll make it easier to dig or anything. I think that's basically what they're asking.
Soften the rock a little.
Yeah.
So it actually makes it a little easier.
As long as it doesn't become a lake.
Well, yeah.
I don't think there's enough.
That's why we got the little scoops, bail out.
Yeah.
We've done that more than once.
That happened to us last year, or was it the year before? I think it was the year before. But yeah. I actually got, that was before I was streaming from the quarry, before we had the satellite internet. But I took some video of just this gully filled up with water, just through here. After a real brief rain, it only rained for like 15 minutes or something. And then just whoosh, all through here. So that's why we've got these berms built up. In order to prevent the quarry from getting flooded.
Okay, so let's
So,
go all the way to your side,
yeah.
and then I'll find another one in my area.
Swarmy ferny bog. There you go, Charlie's Dragon, yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water. And we'll probably wrap up the stream. All right. Well, we're going to let discretion be the better part of valor here. We're going to wrap up this broadcast before that storm hits us. But with any luck, I'll be streaming again tomorrow, which is Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, hopefully. And then Thursday is when we're supposed to get out of Dodge. That's when I'm going to start my journey back to California. So we've got 3 more days of work at the quarry, and the third day will be breaking everything down and closing up for the season. So yeah, we've got just a few broadcasts left from out here in wild and beautiful Utah, and I hope you'll be here for them. But for right now, let's see who else is live on Twitch. Let's see if we can pay a raid to... Should we be so lucky to get somebody else who's doing science right now? There we go. Okay. Paleo stream is on. Let's see. Yeah, let's go say hello to Paleo stream. Why not? It's not too often that I get to raid into Paleo stream. Let's see. Yeah, let's go say hello to Paleo. Oh, be quiet. Raid. Paleo stream was in my suggestions. Beautiful. Well, well, well. Wish us some luck with this incoming storm. And hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Sunday, or whatever day it is, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it in the VOD or on YouTube or whatever. I hope you have a good one. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for your viewership, for your questions, for your enthusiasm, and for just being awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you most especially for the financial support, which makes it possible for me to be out here, to broadcast live from the field, and to do this kind of science outreach. This is pretty special. I'm so lucky to be able to do this, you know? Thank you for making that possible, everybody. Thank you, moderators, for keeping everything on the up and up. I know it's a lot to do this 7 days a week, so those of you who can show up, I really appreciate it, mods. So thank you. Holy cow. Now, without further ado, we're going to go right into Paleo stream and see some paleo art in progress by a real-life paleo artist. Joshua Knupe of Germany has published in a number of different paleontological publications, and pretty cool. So if you like art, if you like fossil science, you're going to like Paleo stream, I think. Let's go tune in, and I'll see you there, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.